Assalamu alaikum. Today is our online 8th lecture and it's all about electromagnetism, same topic which we are having since last week, and today will be the last lecture for the electric charges and electric fields, all these stuffs which we did in last week and this week. So the contents for today's lecture is, first of all, I will do a very brief recall of our electric field lines, which we did last topic in our Monday lecture. Secondly, we will do some numerical examples of Coulomb's law and electric charges and those stuff. And finally, we will go through the topics of electric flux, Gauss's law, or electric potential. So let's recall a bit about electric field lines. So as we studied that electric field lines are basically, you can say it's the indication that shows us the direction of the current electric charge, and in practical life we cannot see that, but in different softwares in thermal imaging or for checking the signal integrity of any device, we always use these electric field lines. And in order to calculate the electric fields, electric charge, electric currents, Gauss's law, all these, it's necessary to learn about electric field lines. So last time we studied some of the properties of electric field lines, which were that it always starts from the positive point and it always ends to the infinity or to the negative point. The electric field lines will never overlap, and as an industrial perspective, it will have a certain distance between them, electric field lines. So these were some of the common properties for this. The reason for telling this is that the next topic which we are going to study is very much related to electric field lines. So that topic is electric flux. What is electric flux? The number of field lines crossing a given area kept normal to the electric field lines is called electric flux. So in simple words, anything which is placed within the region or area of electric field lines and the lines passing through it is called electric flux. More example is the product of magnitude, and it can be measured by EA, because electric flux is directly proportional to the number of electric field, and its SI unit is electric flux, Newton meter square per coulomb. So in simple words, if we see this diagram, and let me draw for example, if we draw a surface here, so a surface is drawn here, okay. These are the electric fields, and as per definition, what is the number of electric field lines crossing? So these are the electric field lines, these, and they are crossing through this surface. So how many are crossing? This is crossing this surface, second, third, and fourth. So this is the electric flux, this in simple words, because the number of electric field lines crossing a given area. So this is the given area, this red one, and these are the electric field line crossing through it. and it is measured directly proportional to the number of electric fields, so it can be measured by EA. Second is Gauss's law. The total electric flux through a closed surface is proportional to the enclosed charge, and its formula is this, where E stands for electric field, TA stands for vector area, sigma q stands for the sum of all the charges, because a number of charges of electric field will be there, and this is the permittivity of free space, and the value of permittivity is 8.854. okay, Gauss's law is just a flux calculation. This definition is as per the formula. You can say the total electric flux through a closed surface is proportional to the enclosed charge, because electric flux is nothing more than a flux calculation. This is called the electric flux, the number of electric field lines passing through the surface, and how many are going out, or how to calculating of these lines which are passing through the surface is called Gauss's law. So in simple we can say that the number of electric field lines passing through a surface is called electric flux, and the calculation of these field lines which pass through the surface is called Gauss's law. Gauss's law only applies to a closed surface called Gaussian surface. Okay, one thing here we can clear. Gaussian surface. What is Gaussian surface? For example, it can be of any shape. Okay, this is one surface, and there are some charges inside this surface. And we can say this charge is as positive, negative, negative, positive. So what the point say? Gauss's law applies to the closed surface called Gaussian surface. So this is a closed surface, and this is Gaussian surface. These are the charges, and these charges are what are these called? These are electric field lines passing through the surface in their region. So this passing through this surface is called electric flux, and passing calculation of this in a closed body is called Gaussian law. So this is Gaussian surface, this is Gaussian surface, and charges are inside that, and the electric field lines passing through this surface, their calculation is Gauss's law. Directly related to electric flux, yes, because it is the, actually in simple word, it is the calculation of the flux. So Gauss's law also used in calculating different types of, like Coulomb's law. In what we did in Coulomb's law? In Coulomb's law we find the force. So in Gauss's law is used to find those forces also, and also many other laws in Newton laws also, and many other laws Gauss's law is used. Next topic is electric dipole. What are the dipoles? First we read the theory, and then I will give you a simple one-line concept. An electric dipole is tagged as a pair of objects which possesses equal and opposite charges parted by a significantly small distance. Let us take two charges having equal magnitude q, which are separated by the distance d. Here we assume the first charge to be negative while the second charges stay positive. You can call this particular combination as an electric dipole. Hence, we can state that An electric dipole is formed due to the grouping of equal and opposite charges when separated by an assured distance. Okay, now one line simple concept. What is electric dipole? Any pair of object having equal but opposite charges. For example, this is positive charge, this is negative charge. These are two objects or charges placed at this distance, and they are emitting or generating the equal number of charges. So dipoles are the 2 points or 2 charges at a specific distance with equal number of emitting or absorbing charges. These are the 2 charges. They are at a distance, specific distance to each other, and the number of charges positive is generating same number of charges, negative is absorbing, you can say. So this is electric dipole, simple. Okay, here our theoretical related to electric charge, dipoles and electric current, electric field lines completed. Now we will check some type of simple numericals or simple multiple choice numericals which we can in your midterm it will be helpful to you. So the first type of numericals that can be in your exam will be simple formula using, like we read the formula of Gauss's law, we read the formula of Coulomb's law, electric charge, electric field, force. These are some basic type of formulas we did. So first type of numericals will be basic numericals. You will simply use the formulas to solve those things. Like this problem 1, a small charge and the value is given is found in a uniform E field, electric field, value is given. Determine the force on the charge. Now we have to find the force on the charge. Remember in Monday's lecture we studied what is the force on the charge. So you have to remember that formula. So the formula for finding the force on the charge is F is equal to QE. So what is the Q value given here is, that is 6.0 MC, and you can also convert into -3 or, because here it's given in meter coulombs. So 6 into 10 raised to power -3. And what is the value for E, electric field? That is 2.9. So the answer will be 0.02 Newton. This is the simple type of, you just need to remember the formula. Like here we have to find the force on the charge. So we know the force formula for the charge and we just put our values. Second type of numerical is also the same. Here find the electric field. Now this is the formula. Here is the electric field. If an electrostatic force, so force already given, acts on the particle, so we have to find electric field. This we have to find, and charge Q is given to us. So now we have value of F and we have value of Q, but we have to find the electric field E value. So first we put the force value, that is 10500 Newton, and Q value is 2.0 coulomb. So the E will be 5250 Newton per coulomb. So this is the simple type of formula, same as the first one, but here the values are little bit shuffled. So you need to just remember the formula for the specific, like force. If I give you force, you know that F is equal to QE, same formula is used. If I want you to find the charge, then same formula is used. If I give you to find the electric field, same formula is used. Now come towards the multiple choice. For example, a question will be like, find force between a proton and an electron placed at the distance. So the distance is also given, and you will be given four choices. So these are the four answers, and now you have to find, first of all, you have to find the force between a proton and electron. How you will find? This is the solution. You no need to write the direct answer. You have to first, in rough work, or if you are asked, you have to show this calculation. So whenever there is said that, you see here it said find the electric field, and here electromagnetic force is only given. So this formula is different, and here it is said that find force between a proton and an electron. This means you have to find the force between two charged particles. So this means whenever there is a numerical related to finding the two charged particle force or two charged particle distance, this means we are talking about Coulomb's law. So let's start solving this. We have to find the Coulomb's law force, and this is the formula for that. What is the formula for constant? 8.99 into 10.9. And what is the value of Q1 and Q2? Here it is given that between a proton and an electron placed at the distance of this. So distance is already given here. We put the value of our distance, and as the constant value, because here no value of proton or electron specific given, so we will use the constant value for both of them, 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 12, and we will find the force. So what is the answer for this? For 2.3 into 10 raised to power minus 16. So now we will check. It lies in 2.3, all are 2.3. 10 raised to power minus 16, 10 raised to power minus 16 are these two, and one is attraction and one is repulsion. So how we will find which one we will be using? So how the answer is C, because find force between proton and electron. This means they are not the same charge, positive and negative, and positive and negative attract each other. That's why the answer C is correct. So first you have to do this calculation and then find the answer. Now we will do one more example. A positive charge particle with the value this is placed between two negatively charged particles with this value on the left and this on the right. The distance between Q1 and Q is 5 cm, and the distance from Q to Q2 is 9 cm. What is the total force acting on the middle particles? Find the value. Okay, in simple words I tell you that there is one particle. They are talking about three particles. This is negatively charged, this is positive, and this is the third particle, which they said it's Q2. And this is Q1. So here they are talking about total force acting on the middle particle. This is the middle particle. So we have to find the total force. Here we are talking again about something between the two particles. So same Coulomb's law will be applied on that. So let's start. We have to find the total force. So total force formula is F total is equal to F1 plus F2. And this is the same thing I told you. This is the particle 1. This is particle 2. and this is the middle particle. So let's start. First we have to find F1 and then F2. So F1 is same, K constant value 8.99. What is the value for Q1? Q1 value is given here, and here we write Q1 value. And what is the value for the charge? That is Q1 and this. So we replace this value here. And what is the value for R1 square? This is the Q value, and this is the value of positive charge within the Q placed. So this is the distance we have put, and this is the charge value, and this is the all the values given in the question, and we will from the calculation get our F1. Nothing is placed from outside. All these values are, Q value is given here, R value is given here, and Q1 value is given here. All these values we take from our equation and we find the F1. Same for F2, Q2, R2, all these values we take from our, this is the Q2 value, we take from our numerical and we get 5.0. So now we have F1 and F2, 1.8, 5.0. Now we find the total F1 plus F2. Now why we place minus here? See, if we choose the axis from left to right, the force F1 has a minus sign since its direction is opposite to the x-axis, and the force F2 has a plus sign since its direction is along the x-axis. So here we choose minus because F1 direction is opposite to this one. So F1 direction is opposite to the x-axis, so that's why we use minus, and our answer is 3.2 10 raised to power 7 Newton. 3.2 10 raised to power 7 Newton. And how we will select, left or right? So you can check here. Since it is positive, because the answer is positive, the total force pointed to the right. If it was negative, then it was to the left. So right is our correct answer. In this numerical it seems very complicated, but it is not complicated. Why? Because nothing is used from outside. All these values we put in F1 and F2, they are from the given numerical, and we just need to find that which one is Q1 value, which one is R value, and we have to calculate our answer, and we have to match our answer with the multiple choice given. So sometimes if you get confusion that we have to write the minus, or how we will select that the right answer is this. Okay, for example, if I put plus here, what will be the answer? The answer will not match from any of these. This means you are doing some mistake. So this is the trick, you can say, to check in multiple choice. If you put minus here, do not put minus here, or you put minus here, the answer will be not available in the given answer. This means you are doing some wrong calculations. And this thing you have to remember, that if the point is positive, so it is on the right side, and if it is negative, then it's on the left side. So this type of simple numericals in multiple choice it will come. You no need to worry about the long numericals, because long numericals you already did in the previous class. So we will do some one step further. If we will do some same the long numericals in your this class, this means I am not training you for the future type of systems. So in future you always be given like multiple choice answers, and for that you have to do the calculation in your rough part and you have to find the possible answer. Even if in F1 or F2 finding you do some mistakes and your answer is not listed in these A to E, so this means you did the problem wrong. Otherwise, if you did all the calculation correct, one of their answers will be there. Still, we can also discuss this in our Monday's lecture. That's why I put this lecture in online, because in today's it was very simple. Just we have to discuss these few definitions, and I need to tell you about how or which type of numericals you need to prepare. So you just need to remember the formula. If you know the formula, then you can also solve this type of simple numericals, and you can also solve this type of multiple choice numerical. So just remember the formula whatever you read. So thank you for today's lecture.